Hey, just play 20 years back, at the age of 17, Lu Fei earned enough capital to continue playing. From 2020 to 2000, follow the path of others, leaving others with no way to go, and step out of one's own true story. Yun. I feel like I've been living in the shadow of Lu Fei for my whole life. Don't talk to me about money, my money isn't as much as him. Teng. Mr. Lu, it has been said that for 3 years and 3 years, I have already had a herniated lumbar disc in 996. Can you approve the fake note? Fong. If there is only one master in the Beijing area, then it must be Lord Lu. Countless people came to him to play with capital, but he went to play various circles. Revival for a lifetime, of course, playing wild. P.S. The old book has a high order of 8,000 high-quality novels, the movie Emperor starts from Czech.in, and the quality is shouldered. Keywords of the novel. Rebirth Millennium players no pop-ups, Rebirth Millennium players complete collection download, Rebirth Millennium players latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Afei, you are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Afei, grinding scissors, cutting knives, collect wine bottles, scrap iron, and old newspapers. The scrap collector rode a tricycle, hand cranking a tambourine, and flashed past Lu Fei's eyes. He stood in a daze at the narrow alley entrance. Looking around, the ice lolly man pushed a bicycle, the quilt was covered in a foam box, the mother.in.law and daughter.in.law surrounded the tinker, and the pots and pans rang. Everything around him was always separated by a layer of estrangement. As the sun set in the west, the afterglow shone on his face and also landed on the small intestine Chen sign. The guest is approaching the door, and the waiter serves the dishes on the plate in a clumsy manner. A bowl of braised small intestine, too overheat. Lu Fei took out his chopsticks from the chopstick barrel, took a bite, and his eyes lit up. Tunnel. In the future, when the storefront expands, there will be no such taste. If you want to eat authentic braised pork, you have to dig into an alley and look for a fly shop. Take another sip of Arctic Ocean, the taste of orange soda, and let a long-lost sense of familiarity surge into your heart, filled with emotions. That's right, he has been reborn. My gaze couldn't help but fall on the thick wall calendar. July 23, 2000. Unconsciously, I have been adapting here for a week. On July 16, 2020, just a minute before drinking a fragment, he was drunk with friends and performed the most popular kicking dance to the melody of Summer Soseki. Does this kick you back to the summer of 20 years ago? Sleeping trough, and this good thing. The most regretful thing for Lu Fei is this youthful period, where he didn't learn well at a young age, smoked, drank, burned his head, skipped school, and played aimlessly. However, he is a good person who dares not help except for the elderly. Strange lottery luck is not good. In the early years of junior high school, I was drawn by drawing lots, but I was lucky enough to get to Bayway Road. That was a famous rogue school, and I stumbled upon the movie Ancient Puzzler and became a street wanderer. But the little canon didn't mix up with the old canon. The prodigal son turned around, and finally graduated from Bajie photography. Although he had a college diploma, he was at least skilled in one skill. Last year, he was admitted to the advanced photographer exam. Officially certified level 3 photographer. It's definitely not the kind of media that opens a studio, accepting advertisements, e-commerce, film and television, internet celebrities, and short videos, as well as internet universities. They don't refuse anyone who comes. How should we live in this life? At the beginning of the new century, there are opportunities everywhere, which can make the ancestral graves smoke, and also make the ancestors pretend to be dead. There are also those who fall to the top, falling to the brink of disaster, and grass growing on their own graves. At this moment, the people around were eating braised food, talking and laughing. They didn't know what kind of era they were in, but Lu Fei knew. When we romanticize an era, it has already passed. Now, it's not coming towards me, I'm walking towards it. Dickens said. There are all kinds of things in front of people, there is nothing in front of people, people are going straight to heaven, people are going straight to hell. He was in the human world in his previous life, neither up nor down. In this life, he wants to go to hell with the capital of all evil. After all, I don't go to hell, who goes to hell? Buddha also entered real estate. Boss, check out. He belched, his mouth full of the smell of pig water, patted his stomach, and walked out of the store. I found my own 2 or 8 big shoulders from the pile of bicycles, rusty and rusty. I took 2 steps with my legs flipped back and forth, took a diagonal step up, and pedaled vigorously, riding gracefully. There is a bird in this world that was born without feet and can only fly in the sky for its entire life. This footless bird, also known as the swift, is born in Yenjing. The sky was dark, and the houses on both sides were low and old, with electric poles covered in dense wires and street lights emitting dim yellow light. Old Bajie is located in all 4 directions, with a clear distinction between east, west, north, and south. Nowadays, the eastern city is rich, while the western city is expensive. He is poor in literature and poor in martial arts. Coincidentally, his family lives in Xuanwu and has not yet merged into the western city. Dingling, dingling. Lu Fei turned several streets and then entered an alleyway, with blue bricks, gray tiles, and narrow walls. Looking around, the crowd was also black, just like shuttling through an old movie with yellowing and overexposure. It was hazy, magical, and very unreal. Riding along Kaishiku South Street, I couldn't see a large and white, demolition, character on the mottled wall for half a day. Developers didn't like this area. Either it's old and dilapidated, or it's a bustling courtyard, a single-family courtyard, where 2 or 3, 4 or 5 families live. He stopped at the entrance of a mixed courtyard, pushed his bicycle through the hallway that looked like a doorway, and looked up to see a common faucet with a cement pond. There were houses on both sides, and the left was pitch black. The neighbors moved into the building and rented it out. On the right, the lights were brightly lit, and the smell of meat wafted through the gaps in the window. The hanging curtains revealed 2 figures. Where's the second one? He hasn't come back yet. That's his older brother, Lu Yun, who is 33 years old and 16 years older than him. When he turned 1 year old, his parents died in a car accident, and Lu Yun had to drop out of school to take over and drive a truck to earn a salary. The biggest regret of his life was that he didn't get into college through the college entrance examination, and all he hoped for was Lu Fei. However, he didn't expect to get into college and had to come by himself. At the age of 53, he was admitted to college. Not yet, I'm still relaxing outside. I guess I'll be back soon. The person whispering softly is sister.in.law Xiao Hongmei, who works with Lu Yun in the same factory. He is 3 years younger than him. When he first introduced him, he mistook Lu Fei for his son and thought it was a second marriage, causing a joke. I haven't had a child yet, but I'm afraid there might be favoritism. So I decided to raise Lu Fei as my son until he lived a stable life before giving birth at an advanced age and going through hell. What do you think Afei should do? She said. What else can we do? Let's repeat our studies. Nowadays, the whole society is laid off, without a college diploma. What can he do in the future, like running long distances with me? Lu Yun said helplessly, I just wonder why I was the top student in my class when I was in school. How did he get this score? How did he get this score? Lu Fei listened to the corner of the wall and breathed a sigh of relief. In 1999, with Huang Hong's words, who will be laid off if I don't, there was a wave of layoffs, and his elder brother and sister.in.law were also laid off with honor. After 16 years of living, the collapse of the building and the unemployment of both employees are not something that can be easily exposed with the phrase, start over. Looking at the bare jujube trees and the dilapidated courtyard, he kicked off his bicycle support frame heavily, and the sound immediately spread to the house. Is it Afei? Xiao Hongmei pushed open the window and immediately changed her frown into a smiling face. Have you eaten? There's a hot meal for you in the room. No way. Lu Fei walked straight into the room, sat on a folding table, and lifted the rice cover. Lu Yun handed over bowls and chopsticks, opened his chair, and sat face to face. Don't wander around all day, I'll find a good school for you. Number 14 Middle School has good teaching staff, and we will go to school on September 1st, you know. Hey. Lu Fei responded with a slightly hoarse throat, which was deeply ingrained in his heart. He had to put in a lot of money to repeat his studies, all of which was paid out from his elder brother and sister. Law's buyout of seniority. Let's eat. Lu Yun touched his younger brother's head. So let's think carefully, what kind of university should we take the exam for? Xiao Hongmei also served the hot dishes. Lu Yun waved his hand and said, the teacher should worry about this matter, and we don't understand either. We don't understand, we understand the C route. Xiao Hongmei patted him and said, she's a college student. She. Lu Yun was moved, but hesitated. She just moved in. She's not a relative, is she willing? Why don't you want to? I've agreed with her. The meat stewed in the kitchen was specially prepared for her. Xiao Hongmei flipped through her apron pocket, took out Zhang Wuyuan, and changed it to 10 yuan. You hurry up and buy a drink. She loves to drink big pears, buy 2 bottles, she said, sister-in-law, let me go. After finishing his last bite of food, Lu Fei stood up and snatched the paper money, heading straight to the nearest small grocery store. Just as I arrived at the door, I bumped into a woman with a bicycle sliding on her face. She had a ponytail, single eyelids, an average appearance, and a carefree mouth. Afei, where are you going at night? Sister Hailu. Lu Fei blinked, surprised even though it wasn't a face-to-face encounter. In his past life, a couple who were supposed to sell breakfast should have moved in. He never expected that the butterfly's wings would flutter, and he would catch a car thief and attract such a neighbor. After the movie, Qin Hailu. The new book has gone through difficult production and finally came into being. Please collect and recommend it. Temporarily 2 shifts per day. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Actors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Actors, beverages. Don't buy them. Qin Hailu grabbed Lu Fei's arm and pulled him back, shouting towards the courtyard, Sister Xiao, don't be polite. I've eaten at the company before. Oh, didn't I tell you when I went out this morning? Come to my house for dinner, there's still meat stewed in the pot. Xiao Hongmei quickly walked out. Seeing that they look like sisters, Lu Fei can't get in touch. He stops Qin Hailu's bike and suddenly says, Hey, Hailu, have you changed your car? I stopped at the entrance of the alley the day before yesterday and was stolen by another bastard. Qin Hailu complained and Xiao Hongmei comforted, repeatedly stating that the neighbors of the entire alley should be fully mobilized, and the reputation of Kaishiku Hutong must not be tarnished. Although the courtyard is dilapidated and narrow, and the cooking next door is full of delicious food, there is always a human touch in the smoke and fire. It can argue with chicken skin and garlic skin, and also has neighbors to help. After entering the room, Qin Hailu asked about Lu Fei's college entrance examination results. Suddenly, Lu Yun's words were interrupted, and Xiao Hongmei was in a difficult position. The person in question shamelessly said. 81 points in Chinese, 10 points in mathematics, 103 points in English. Lu Yun interrupted, cough, the total score is 304, and the foundation is a bit weak. However, Lu Fei held his head high, as if after losing to Thailand and Vietnam in the Chinese national football team, he remained confident and his face disappeared. But he also has something to say. His Miao's rebirth, no sooner or later, is stuck on the day of the college entrance examination. Can you pass it? You don't have this ability, you know. It's not the middle school entrance exam, and even one more month of hard work won't work. Fortunately, I learned a foreign language for a while in my past life. That's it, it's already over 80 points higher than in my previous life. I am proud. Xiao Hongmei helped cover up and said, the teacher at the repeating school said there is still a lot of room for improvement. Stronger than me in the college entrance examination, 16 points higher. After Qin Hailu finished speaking, she startled Lu Yun and Xiao Hongmei. She didn't believe the undergraduate graduates in front of her, and only scored 288 points. Even if she had a Yanjing household registration, she couldn't even get into a college. Little do they know, it is absolutely true. She went to a drama school before graduating from elementary school and didn't teach any cultural courses. She only scored 27 points in English and 4 points in mathematics in the college entrance examination, and the total score for the two subjects was only 31 points. Lu Fei was not surprised at all. The admission scores for cultural courses in Bajie and Zhongxi cannot even be compared to those in sports schools. Those celebrities who set themselves as academic achievers, especially Dr. Zhai. I don't know about CNKI, right? Qin Hailu said, Shao Jie, cultural courses in performance schools come second, and the key is the art exam. The teacher I interviewed said that as long as I score 190 in the college entrance examination, I can definitely be admitted. Oh, so you're an actor, Xiao Hongmei wondered. If you don't act well, how can you be someone's secretary? Qin Hailu waved his hand and said, when I passed the entrance exam for acting, I wanted to get a diploma and become a white-collar worker, to be safe and stable, and then get married. A bachelor's degree is enough, but is he the kind of person, said Lu Yun with a hot heart. Qin Hailu then simulated a second round of the Chinese opera art exam, not to mention the stage and form. Lu Fei could sing out of tune, and his voice was still a popular white voice. Charlotte's Road is impassable. Lu Yun shook his head and sighed, he doesn't have that possibility. It's not impossible, Afei has a star-like appearance. Qin Hailu smiled and said, there was a person named Huang Xiaoming in the C2.6 exam at Bajie University. When he took the art exam with a crutch, he relied on his handsome face to get into Bajie University. I've seen that person before, and I think Afei looks no worse than him. That's it. Lu Fei has a beautiful heart. I am Chen Haonan from Xuanwu. I am the leader of Kaishiku Hutong and have won the hearts of many young ladies. It is not impossible for me to be handsome and enter the middle stage. Xiao Hongmei asked, does Afei really have a chance? The key is up to him, I can tutor him on the art exam. Qin Hailu looked at the wavering family of three and suggested, how about this? When I was buying a bicycle, I heard from the owner of the bike shop that there was a place to recruit actors. Anyway, school hasn't started yet, so I decided to give it a try and become a group performer. It won't take a few days. Actors. When Lu Fei returned to his room, the night was already deep. Turn on the desk lamp and take out a black notebook from the locked cabinet. The notebook is filled with wealth codes, densely packed and crisscrossed, with a timeline in the vertical direction. For example, in 2001, the internet foam burst and NetArt was suspended. For example, the 2002 World Cup in Japan and South Korea was the biggest dark curtain in football history and also the pinnacle of the national football team. For example, in 2003, the industrialization reform of the film industry was launched. National housing prices experienced a breakthrough surge in 2004, quadrangles allowed free buying and selling, and the real estate market in Yanjing skyrocketed. Lu Xiang won a gold medal at the Olympics, and the Chinese women's volleyball team made a big comeback from 2005 to 2007. The implementation of stock reform led to a bull market, however, horizontally and precisely, just football, Milan champagne, Brazil tragedy, Barcelona tragedy, enough to open champagne and drink La Fight. What's more, it also involves the internet, film and television, sports, stock market, property market, etc., and even has milk tea formula, which is an almost comprehensive game strategy. Key tasks, key NPCs, key props, how to practice the fastest, how to earn the most money, which character is important, and which hidden story is important, all are clear. He opened the cabinet again and took out a tin box, which contained all his savings. 209 yuan and 50.7 cents. Damn it, I can't afford to be poor. The ballpoint pen was pounding on the table, and while pondering, the college entrance examination would definitely not be a priority. This year is the first year of the 3+X reform. Originally, geography and biology were only subject exams, but from now on, they have been changed to idioms such as Chinese, mathematics, and English, as well as comprehensive studies in arts, science, and science. It is estimated that at most, he will be admitted to a bachelor's degree in 1 year, which is still just ordinary. What is the difference between this and China National Academy of Drama, Peking University, and Peking University? If you focus on the key points, in case 2002 doesn't go well, damn it. In 2003, it's an epic hell-level college entrance exam, and candidates will collapse when they see the exam papers. Purely wasting a few years, his time is precious, millions of minutes. I will settle for a middle school drama exam, or Beijing electric power. I will try to be fast, circle, and secure. Even if I lose the face of a reborn person, I will still be able to return to my old profession and save money. Schwa schwa schwa, writing the location of the crew on paper. Xuanwu Youth Palace, adjacent to Taoranting Park. When the morning sun shines, the lotus is red and the willow is green. In the breeze, Lu Fei leisurely pedals the 2 or 8 bars to digest the fermented sour milk made from ground mung bean while gold coke circle in his stomach. Slowly strolling around for half a circle, I arrived at the entrance of the youth palace. At this moment, the early rising small vendors had already set up street stalls, and the parking spaces were filled with large cars and small cars. Young people around his age, in groups of 3 or 2, climbed up the stairs. Lu Fei walked to the sock stall, where the vendor had a strong eyebrow and a righteous expression. He was wearing a short shirt and sitting in a mazar. How about buying a few pairs? Lu Fei shook his head and handed over a large front door. Brother, in the early morning, what are these people doing inside? The vendor was not picky either, and took the initiative to light the fire. They're all here to hit the jackpot. There's a crew filming a movie and recruiting actors. These days, they've been moving one after another. If you ask me, those people just now are useless. How do you say it? Lu Fei said curiously. There is a director inside, and I recognize the 9-headed snake from Journey to the West. With such a role, can you pick a crooked melon and split dates when choosing an actor? The vendor swallowed a cloud and said with a smile, Brother, are you also here to join the fun? 9-headed worm. Lu Fei nodded and handed over a cigarette. I'll go in later. I don't know when I'll come out. Could you please mind and help me keep an eye on my car? It's easy to say, easy to say. The vendor held the cigarette in his ear. I think you have a lot of hope, brother. Borrow my brother's auspicious words. Lu Fei followed the current and walked straight to an open space, with several tables and chairs lying horizontally in front of him, forming a long queue. Suddenly, his shoulder was slapped, and when he turned around, a face appeared in his eyes, somewhat familiar. Hey, big brother, are you the 9-headed worm from Journey to the West? Bajie was taken aback, then surprised and skeptical. Do you also recognize me? How many times have Journey to the West been replayed? I recognize every character in it. Lu Fei is now learning and selling, approaching it. Bajie looked closely and said, Are you here to audition for the male lead? He extended his finger and pointed out a direction. I walked the wrong way. This is an interview group performance, you should go to the playground. Lu Fei. 0.0, do you recognize the way? As soon as Bajie thought of him opening his mouth, he came up with a 9-headed worm and kindly said, Forget it, I'll take you over. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. This kick kicks out a movie. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 3. This kick kicks out a movie. So many people. Lu Fei followed Bajie to the playground, and the green ground was filled with people. Inside and outside, there were crowds of people. Bajie smiled bitterly and said, "For the sake of this male protagonist, let's quickly search every bicycle shop in Yanjing." Lu Fei suddenly realized, no wonder Qin Hailu got the news. "Okay, you can wait here." As the words fell, Lu Fei left Bajie on the grass. He looked bewildered and lying down. Didn't the male lead need to register for an audition? I felt like I had infiltrated a grassroots team and leaned towards the outskirts of the crowd. Fortunately, I was 1.78 meters tall. Looking up, I saw two people standing in the center, one with dark skin and a hint of rusticity, and the other with glasses and a gentle demeanor. They were arguing over a bicycle. There were several adults next to him, male and female. Sweeping in a row, he found a familiar-looking person in his unfamiliar face. "Yo, Wang Xiaoshui." The sixth-generation director has no intersection, and his style is not liked by Lu Fei. He just watched Eternal Love carefully. In the sixth generation, he only liked the films of Jia Zhangke and Ning Hao, the former being real and the latter being absurd. "Stop, next one." I saw Wang Xiaoshui gently shaking his head. The new person was playing against the tall black guy, but like the other one, he spoke as if he hadn't eaten enough, feeling weak and hesitant in his movements. Obviously, he was an inexperienced child. In front of everyone's eyes, the pressure is immense and the tension is distorted. After all, we're not looking for professional actors, we're all teenagers aged 17 or 18 who know how to play with cars. "Hey buddy, which one is playing this?" Lu Fei patted the shoulder of a man next to him, politely asking for advice, and the answer he received was similar to what he saw. Black Gao plays the role of a car thief, and all they have to do is snatch the car back in their own way. "This car belongs to me, please return it to me." That person was grinding and chattering, actually arguing with the car thief. Lu Fei smacked his lips, talking about civilization and creating a new atmosphere here. He's really a thief. Wang Xiaoshui seemed to feel the same way, calling out to the next person, sighing one after another, shaking his head again and again. In less than 5 minutes, he immediately saw off the two people, creating an awkward atmosphere that appeared solemn in the silence. "Hey, what do you think of the line I wrote?" "Why have lines? Just grab the car back." Many people are whispering and summarizing the experiences and lessons of the previous failures, which have led to indecent development. Lu Fei looked at the crowded crowd, at least people in their 40s and 50s, waiting for his outermost self to catch up for lunch. At this moment, the person who was auditioning seemed to have turned robbing a car into a comical tug of war. Two people, one grabbing the front of the car and the other grabbing the seat, are evenly matched, just like two northeastern big men staring at each other, spraying, "What are you looking at?" and replying with, "What are you looking at?" Both sides are deadlocked and playing tug of war. Next. Wang Xiaoshui twisted open his thermos, took a sip of tea to moisten his throat, and shouted twice in a row. However, there is no next one. Frequent brushing of people makes young people hesitant to stand up, fearing that they will be brushed off if they perform poorly and miss a once-in-lifetime opportunity. This is the protagonist of a movie, be careful. I still have to touch the stones to cross the river. Lu Fei glanced at the electronic watch, and after 2 minutes, none of them dared to stand up and shouted, "It's the masters." Someone went up but no one went up, and I went up if no one went up. This voice immediately caught his attention, and countless pairs of eyes gathered on him in unison. Wang Xiaoshui called out and said, just you come." In an instant, a path made way among the crowd. Lu Fei showed no stage fright and held his pockets in both hands. Although it was a 17-year-old face, his psychological age was not the same. He walked with a big horse and a golden sword, and the indomitable spirit of the 4 or 9 city masters impressed Wang Xiaoshui and others. How can you do it in your own way? Lu Fei asked. Wang Xiaoshui laughed and joked, as long as you don't kill anyone, that's all. Brother, what about you? Lu Fei turned to ask He Gao. Cui Lin, what do you think? Do you want to switch to someone else? Wang Xiaoshui's proposal was rejected by Cui Lin, her eyes serious, and she tightly grasped the handle of the car with both hands. With a stubborn and determined attitude, she said, you can greet me as you please. Then let's apologize first. Lu Fei's smiling face suddenly pulled down and rushed forward without giving any reaction time. I'm Nima. Pop. Cui Lin's left face was heavily slapped, and the slap was particularly loud, leaving him stunned like a piece of wood. It also stunned Wang Xiaoshui, the camera, and the young people present. Like a sea level without any waves, a sudden and wild tsunami wave erupts coldly. After slapping his mouth, Lu Fei kicked Cui Lin hard, causing him to grit his teeth and fall to the ground in pain. The car was snatched back with ease. Finally, he didn't forget to spit on the grass and said, "Yeah, dare you steal my car? Stinky gotcha," in local dialect. Damn it. This set of combos brings you back to the era of ruthlessness. Quiet. It's very quiet. Cui Lin, who was beaten, covered her face with one hand and her feet with the other, and landed on her buttocks with a bewildered expression on her face. The onlookers all stared at each other. Although they had a genuine intention of hitting others, they were more or less unable to let go due to the play. At best, they were like the tug-of-war wrestler. Good guy, is this guy really fierce? He dares to take action and even moves his feet. Looking at Lu Fei, his eyes were complicated. He quickly ran to Cui Lin with his hands clasped together, apologizing sincerely. Sorry, didn't leave your hand. Did the kick hurt? Cui Lin was also frightened by his fierce force just now and stuttered, No, it's okay. Xiaoshui, this industry, this is so explosive. The photography director was pleasantly surprised. The explosive power of an actor is the moment of expression when the performance reaches its climax. A character bombards the audience and opponents with visual impact in great sadness, joy, anger, and shock. For example, the roar of Ma Jingtao. The difference lies not only in the Roaring Emperor, but also in other Qionyao dramas, such as Kong in Huanzhu, which has a facial makeup and excessive force, without Zhang Qi's proper control or reasonable expression. Coincidentally, Lu Fei did it. Wang Xiaoshui was taken aback and said, how did you think of doing this? Do you need to think about it? Who caught the thief and didn't beat him to death? Lu Fei spread out his hand, speechless. Pop. Wang Xiaoshui patted his forehead and muttered to himself, yes, true. Kitano Takashi's aesthetic of violence is sudden yet real. Hey, director, do you think it's okay? Lu Fei quickly interrupted, wanting to kill or cut, feeling dizzy. Everyone stretched their necks, eagerly watching the director make a decision. Wang Xiaoshui restrained his excitement and looked up and down at this seemingly friendly and well-behaved young man, feeling that there was infinite wildness in his body. Have you never learned acting? No, Lu Fei thought without hesitation. Wang Xiaoshui looked left at Cui Lin and right at Lu Fei, slapped his thigh, and the movie's double male lead is set. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. First Barrel of Gold. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. First Barrel of Gold. What? The young cyclists watching immediately exploded, pounding their chests and feet one by one, regretting their cowardice. If they had known, they would have beaten Cui Lin. The protagonist has been chosen, and there is no need for them to stay anymore. They scattered like birds and beasts, and in an instant, the crowd receded. Ha! Lu Feizhang opened his mouth and was selected like this. He asked, how much is it? Wang Xiaoshui was stunned and said, "What? How much money should we give?" "We can't do it for nothing, can we?" said Lu Fei. Oh. Of course not." Wang Xiaoshui felt strange, as he had never seen anything so direct before, feeling a bit depressed. "Why don't you ask what movie it is and what the characters are? I can take photos as long as it's not a blue man or a lesbian." Seeing Lu Fei bargaining with Wang Xiaoshui, big or small, Chui Lin, who is also the male lead, was stunned. This is truly a fearless master, so bold. Unfortunately, Wang Xiaoshui was not at all annoyed. The more he looked at him, the more he felt like the actor he wanted. He was like a young man from Yanjing, and after a moment of contemplation, he said, just like Chui Lin, 2005. Nowadays, salaries are generally in the hundreds, and 2,500 is simply a small sum of money. Lu Fei asked, "How long does it take to shoot and where does it take?" Wang Xiaoshui said, "It's in Yanjing, at most 1.5 months. Lu Fei pondered the price and tried to raise it, saying, 3,000 yuan is okay. I have to go to a high school resumption class in September, and I have to take a long leave to film. The tuition fee is not cheap." Between the lines, it says, "Add money." Gao Fu, how old are you?" 17. The age matches the character perfectly. Wang Xiaoshui touched his chin. The movie is a Sino-French joint venture, costing over 300,000 yuan. It is completely acceptable to offer the male protagonist a salary of 3,000 yuan. Generally, graduates from China National Academy of Drama and Beijing Electric Power Corporation are the main characters who receive this salary. Zhao Buffetway's single episode in Huanzhou is also 3,000 yuan. Okay. He happily agreed, and also raised Chui Lin's remuneration to 3,000, a bowl of water even. Chui Lin couldn't help but be excited. Oh my God, there was an unexpected gain. She cast a grateful glance at Lu Fei, who was registering information. This slap and kick were worth it. Wang Xiaoshui said, "We need to prepare for a few more days. Please leave your contact information and we will notify you later." "Okay, you can call this number." Lu Fei gave it to the grocery store in the alley, and the installation fee for one phone this year is at least 15,000 yuan. If you can't get in touch, you can go directly to Kaishiku Hutong and ask anyone to find my home. Wang Xiaoshui said, "This is the script. You have time to think about it when you go back." Lu Fei took over the script and said, "Cheng. Director Wang, is it okay? If it's okay, I'll leave first. Let's go. Goodbye everyone." Lu Fei waved his hand and left, his back looking more and more graceful. He walked out of the youth palace, didn't go straight home, and walked to the sock stall. At this moment, the sun is shining brightly and the stall is deserted. Even if parents with children pass by, they pick and choose, and occasionally only have 1 or 2 customers. "Big brother, how is business?" Lu Fei glanced at the stall. "Oh, not really. It's difficult to do business during the day, and there are still many people on the overpass. Let's close the stall and go there later." The stall owner cheered up, "So, did you get through the interview?" "Hey, it's done, thank you, brother." Lu Fei Xingao patted the entire box of front doors in his hand. Don't, little brother." The vendor strongly refused, stood in a stalemate for a while, and finally pushed it back into his hand, "Brother, open and bright." As a gesture of reciprocity, I also forcefully handed 2 pairs of ordinary socks to Lu Fei, which cannot be refused. "Cheng, Zhao, one day when I buy socks, I'll go to the overpass to find you." Lu Fei bid farewell to Zhao Guoqiang, riding on the 2 or 8 high bars, without holding the handlebars in both hands, spreading his arms, his bicycle galloped, and the light of the right path shone on the smooth road. Woo-hoo! With an extra 3,000 yuan, I divided my hands and extravagantly chopped half a pound of pork head, bought a bottle of Hongxing Erguotu, and went home happily. Lu Fei pushed the car in and said, "Big brother. Sister-in-law." Xiao Hongmei stood in front of the faucet, scraping scallions and said, "How about it? How about it? Is it on the noodles? Look at what he has in his hand, it's definitely done." Qin Hailu was first happy, and then he said with a stern expression, "Group performances don't make much profit. You need to save money, you know." Xiao Hongmei surrounded and said, "Let's have lunch together at noon, and it's perfect to add a dish." Hee hee. Lu Fei took out the script sandwiched in the creaky nest and said openly, "Sister Hailu, I am the protagonist." The protagonist. The two women looked at each other in disbelief. Qin Hailu didn't care to turn on the faucet and leaned in front of him, staring at the script, afraid that he would fall for it. After asking about the situation, he took a cold breath and said, "You're lucky, you're still a famous director." "Really?" Xiao Hongmei's eyes turned slightly red and she said, "Oh my, Afei, you're doing well this time. Sister. Law, where's the big brother? Are you traveling long distances?" Lu Fei said. "No, he's going to Yanjiao this time and will be back tonight. He must be happy to receive this letter." Xiao Hongmei smiled happily and couldn't even close her mouth after dinner. While serving dishes to Lu Fei, she sighed, "I didn't expect that Afei really has artistic talent. In the future, I will study hard with Hai Lu Jie and take the Chinese opera exam next year." "Hai Lu Jie, thank you." Lu Fei picked up his wine glass. Qin Hailu clinked his glass and drank it all in a hearty gulp. "Don't hold your tail high when you receive the protagonist's play. The protagonist is not so easy to be. Play well. If this movie can win any prize, it will be more important than the extra points in the college entrance examination. What if it's an actor?" Lu Fei joked. "As long as you pass the cultural courses, Chinese opera will open the door for you." After dinner, returning to the room, Lu Fei lay in bed, looking up at the roof, feeling that today was particularly wonderful. It's not because the sixth generation asked him to make movies, he didn't really think it was a big deal. He just wanted to make a quick profit and finally start a big money-making plan. But in his plan, like Zhang Yimou and Gu Changwei, he transformed from a photographer to a director and became an actor in a confused way. A skeleton stood up, flipped through the script, and the title page was printed with 17-year-old bicycle. At first glance, it looks very boring, like a math problem. After reading it hard, there is a melancholy of only writing one solution for half a day. I played the role of Xiao Jian, a native of Yanjing from an affluent family. Every time my father promised to buy a bicycle, he would always break his promise. Finally, I couldn't bear it anymore. I stole money from my family and went to the second-hand market to buy a stolen car. Unfortunately, what I found was a stolen car. Relying on this car, immerse yourself in your social circle. I also relied on this car to get a girlfriend. Then, the owner Egue came to his door. The car was the express delivery car he used to make a living in Yanjing, but Xiao Jian firmly refused to return it. This car was the capital for him to win self-esteem and love, so the conflict erupted. Finally, patronizing the car, it really caught the attention of people. In a fit of anger, they retaliated against those who wielded hose, causing Egue to be surrounded and stained with blood. 2 capital words, damn it. How to perform it? Lu Fei used his brain and took out a draft paper, thinking that character biographies could help people delve deeper into their characters. Liang Jiahui acted in Black Gold and produced a 100,000-word biography. Before shooting, he threw it to the director, Ma Dongxiong, who called it thicker than his script. No wonder Lu Dehua was pressed into a supporting role in the play. Who agrees? Who opposes it? From gender, age, appearance, physiological condition, mental state, and psychological consciousness, like a surgical knife dissecting a gross teacher, under his pen, the brain constantly fantasizes about the little tough, with his own face. After writing for a while, feeling dizzy, I picked up my changed clothes and walked through the narrow living room. Xiao Hongmei lifted the unpacked socks and asked about their origin. He smiled and said, "Sister-in-law, it didn't cost any money, it was given by someone else." "How much does it cost per pair?" 1 yuan, but the cost is only a few cents. A few cents, can't you? That's right, Tianyi's small commodity market is priced at this price. After speaking, Lu Fei went out and headed straight for the bathhouse. Xiao Hongmei was stunned for a moment, staring at her socks, lost in thought. Seeking collection and investment. Thank you, readers. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. As long as you have the courage, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. As long as you have the courage. 2 days later, Lu Fei received a call from Wang Xiaoshui and arrived at Xiajinsi Hutong in Indian Bridge as scheduled. In a spacious courtyard, there is a gathering of directors, cinematographers, screenwriters, and art professionals. This formation is naturally a script reading session. As the name suggests, it is a military exercise before starting up. Looking around, in addition to him, Cui Lin and Zhao Yiwei, who played his father, were present. There was a tall and graceful flower and bone plant. The woman has short hair in her ears and a delicate appearance. At first glance, she looks like a beautiful woman, but upon closer inspection, she is clearly the undeveloped Gao Yuanyuan. Lu Fei raised his eyebrows. Is she my little girlfriend in the play? Gao Yuanyuan also noticed him, with her eyes facing each other. The two of them accidentally raised their hands and froze awkwardly, unsure if they should extend their hands first. "Hello," Lu Fei took the initiative to introduce himself. "Hello," Gao Yuanyuan blinked and lightly touched her fingertips. The screenwriter Teng Danian nearby saw, "Hey, Director Wang, this is what you call a child with spiritual energy. He has a lot of courage, but doesn't know if he's afraid of the camera when filming. Just take a picture and you'll know." Wang Xiaoshui finished setting up the shooting plan and said, "The meeting is over, let's start shooting." In the first scene of booting up, it is often a transitional scene to win a good start, with smooth implications. The photography team is in place, the machine frame is at the door panel has peeled off paint, and debris has piled up. After walking through the scene twice, Wang Xiaoshui cautioned, "Don't feel pressured. The other lead actors, like you, have no acting experience. Just follow the rehearsal just now and don't look at the camera." Lu Fei was not worried at all. The camera was completely turned away from him, and there was no need to say the lines in this scene. It was a simple batch. Photography team, in place. Recording team, in place. 3, 2, 1, action. With a loud bang, the recording board was lowered and immediately flashed aside, looking at Lu Fei pushing the mountain bike. He walked into the camera, step by step entering the door, and suddenly stopped. "I stole money to buy a car, where can my family see it?" Immediately hide the bicycle in an inconspicuous corner, flip left and right, find 2 broken cotton quilts to cover it, and then move on, adding layers of discarded newspapers and cardboard boxes to cover up one's crimes. In front of the monitor, Wang Xiaoshui squinted his eyes. The deputy director asked in a low voice, "There was no rehearsal. This kid is on a show, should we call it a stop?" "Don't worry, let this kid play around." Wang Xiaoshui didn't think of a single one, he just wanted to find a sense of humor for Lu Jihui. In the panoramic view, Lu Fei walked back and forth, staring straight at the location of the hidden car, confirming that he couldn't find it. He stepped back step by step, afraid of seeing any clues outside the door. "Is that all?" As a professional actor, Wang Xiaoshui would not hesitate to shout, "Click," to start over, because the performances were all futile routines, purely wasting film. At this moment, Lu Fei's heel hit the threshold, stumbling and almost falling. Suddenly, a little comical figure appeared. Cui Lin, who was watching, opened her mouth and caught sight of Teng Danian smiling. "This kid, he's a bit interesting. He scratched his head, unable to understand. I saw Lu Fei hovering outside the door, confirming that there was no dead angle at 180 degrees and no hidden car could be seen. I walked back into the door, took 3 steps and turned back until my figure disappeared at the corner of the wall. Is that all? Wang Xiaoshui shook his head. The stumbling threshold was certainly stunning, but it was not enough to keep him on camera. Just as he was about to stop, Lu Fei suddenly turned back and focused on hiding the car, forgetting that his backpack and coat were still in the car. How hard did the front foot struggle to move up, and how hard did the back foot struggle to move down? With each move, my face was as tired as a bitter gourd, sweating profusely. Lu Fei wiped away the sweat with his arms, looked at the corner with deep affection, and showed a relaxed and satisfied smile. That was the vitality that a teenager should have, all captured by the camera. Director Wang, this child has spirituality, the photography director praised. Click. Wang Xiaoshui didn't expect that Lu Fei would give him a surprise when he came up. It was a transitional scene, portrayed as a rather childlike mime. He crossed the levels of family design 3 times, controlled the rhythm perfectly, and was also very good at capturing the camera. How about it, Director Wang? When Lu Fei was called in, he was not worried about Yin Tianqiu from The King of Comedy. He was scolded for stealing scenes, and the protagonist added scenes on the spot, only whether it was appropriate or not. Wang Xiaoshui was surprised and said, "I've practiced at home, how could I think of acting like this?" Lu Fei's greatest reliance is on being a photographer, filming many scenes and watching many films. As soon as I think about life, I naturally think of Li Xuejin from Hey. The old man, an old man with Alzheimer's disease, who shakes his hands while drinking, causing his glass to hurt his teeth, which is both comical and heartbreaking. Thinking about me stealing money to buy a car, how would I hide it? Wang Xiaoshui and Teng Danian looked at each other and gave each other a thumbs up. The idea is good, and the camera sense is also very good. The only flaw is that the expression is not natural enough. So, Lu Fei followed his instructions and added 2 more visible improvements. Wang Xiaoshui nodded satisfied and said, "This one has passed. The filming must consider the cost. Focusing shots from the same location is unlikely to follow the script, unless it's like the great poet Chen Kaiga. After all, it's not his money that burns." Since he is at Xiaojian's home, Lu Fei naturally has the heaviest role. Pass. Hiss, it's another pass. It's already been 6 games, this child's spiritual energy. Don't draw conclusions so early. The play just now was not difficult, we still have to watch the father-son play. The crew members were discussing and even betting that Lu Fei would pass by a few times. Cui Lin and Gao Yuanyuan trembled beside them, while Alexander, who was also acting for the first time, had such a big difference in character. Wang Xiaoshui observed the match between Lu Fei and Zhao Yiwei and asked in front of the production team, "What do you think?" Everyone looked at each other and suddenly heard Lu Fei's voice in their ears. "Director Wang, I have an idea. Can I not say my lines?" "Don't say your lines." Teng Danian frowned with displeasure and added scenes on the spot. As a screenwriter, he couldn't control the script, but he had to stand up and argue. The famous director deleted his lines, but he endured it because he was the eldest. The producer deleted my lines, but he endured it because he invested money. Why do you, as a newcomer, dare to delete my lines? He said displeased, "Director Wang, where did you find such a brave child?" Lu Fei raised his lips. Not only was I full of courage, but I was also best at using the white horse and silver spear, with 7 in and 7 out. He's just a child, Wang Xiaoshui quickly comforted, "Afei, give me a reason. I think if Xiaojian doesn't speak, the effect will be better." Lu Fei suggested giving it a try, but Teng Danian clearly disagreed. "Just give it a try." Setting aside the carriage and horses, Zhao Yiwei looked at the imposing young man, sighed, adjusted his posture, and said his lines, "I know you're not feeling well. What was originally agreed upon has now been blown up again, but I have no choice." Lu Fei remained silent, picking up a screwdriver and skillfully repairing the VCD machine. It's not easy for her younger sister to light up and cook oil. Don't even mention it, she will be admitted to a key high school. Zhao Yiwei said, "Hee, this tuition fee needs to be paid. I've discussed it with your mother, but it's still my sister's business." Once again breaking the promise, Lu Fei fell into silence. Don't easily make promises to children that adults cannot make. I replaced it with a bigger screwdriver and continued to tinker expressionlessly, without any lines or bursts, completely like a sullen gourd. Lazily arguing and arguing, already disappointed to the point of having nothing to say, like cold violence between couples, the ultimate anger is silence. Wang Xiaoshuai's eyes lit up, and Tang Danian's eyes were filled with disbelief. Director Wang, has he really never learned acting? Wang Xiaoshuai discovered the treasure and said happily, "He's just a high school student." Tang Danian's scalp feels numb from watching. Is he a high school student? Silent performance is definitely highly challenging. The absence of a voice stage in the form of a voice stage is equivalent to sacrificing half of one's martial arts skills. It relies solely on body movements, eye contact, and facial expressions, allowing the audience to understand both the emotions in the play. He reluctantly said, "Okay, I agree not to speak." Gao Yuanyuan was momentarily confused, how could she agree again? In her opinion, Lu Fei was just tightening the screws and remained silent. Although he couldn't understand, he was greatly shocked. As soon as the father-son play was over and lunch was served, Chui Lin stumbled over to Lu Fei. Gao Yuanyuan was also not reserved and came to seek advice, like a scumbag or a school flower clinging to a school bully. She asked, "You, how did you do it?" Simply put, act yourself. Lu Fei doesn't hide anything, just shake it off. Newcomers have a lot of performance experience, such as how to laugh, how to cry, and every move, all based on their feelings. It's better for Xiaojian to get closer to him than to get closer to him. Chen Daoming, who plays everyone like himself. The rogue emperor Lu Bang performed in a Kangxi style, and so did Qin Shi Huang and Nie Mingyu. It was not 1,000 faces, but 1,000 faces. How should I portray myself? Don't act, whatever life is like, filming is like. Gao Yuanyuan nodded vaguely, and saw that Lu Fei was so hungry that he stuck his chest to his back, opened the foam box, 1 meat and 1 vegetable, pepperoni and scrambled eggs with tomatoes. She frowned and hesitated to move her chopsticks. What's wrong, no appetite? He broke open his chopsticks and scraped the 2 sticks against each other. I don't like eating fatty intestines, I don't even want to smell them. Seeing Gao Yuanyuan being picky about food, Lu Fei pondered for a while, then picked out all his fat intestines and said generously, "Let's exchange. I'll use tomato scrambled eggs to exchange with you." "Thank you, Lu Fei." Gao Yuanyuan pursed her lips and watched as Lu Fei scooped up fatty intestines to cover the rice, her mouth full, and Xia Fei's cheeks suddenly appeared. Chui Lin opened her mouth and sandwiched herself between the two of them, appearing to have a lot of spare time. Not far away, Tang Danian couldn't help but sigh, "Damn it, not only bold, but also lecherous, how dare to openly pick up girls, even in front of them. He Tui, it's great to be young." End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Socks also roll up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Socks also roll up. The scene was filmed until 9 p.m., but Lu Fei refused to move to a guest house to live with the crew and ride his bike home. As soon as I entered the door, the 2 rooms were pitch black. I was surprised to find that Xiao Hongmei was not at home and didn't have time to think much. My stomach was in turmoil, and I was growling loudly. Damn it, the fat intestines are definitely not washed clean. After having a stomachache all afternoon, I quickly grabbed a tissue paper and a flashlight and stumbled towards the public restroom. There is no distinction between men and women, only one. 3 mixed courtyards are shared, and all 16 households of Lazar are here. Under the dim yellow street light, Lu Fei stood at the door, smelling a foul odor and stuffing a ball of paper into his nostrils. The lock on the door is basically a decoration, it can't be locked at all, and every time I shout loudly, "Is there anyone inside?" The second son of the Lu family, go and go. Aunt Wu and I are inside. The voice of the middle-aged woman came, and Lu Fei felt a burst of chrysanthemum pain. Damn it, hurry up and buy a house. Wealth freedom comes second, while squatting freedom comes first. He covered his stomach and circled around, quickly taking a cigarette to divert his attention. In the remaining light, he caught sight of Xiao Hongmei riding a tricycle and appearing from the entrance of the alley. Hey, sister.in.law. Where did you come from? Night market. Xiao Hongmei got off the car. You can't rely solely on your big brother, can you? I'm fine tonight, so why don't you go sell socks? Lu Fei was both surprised and suspicious. Didn't my sister.in.law set up a street stall in her past life? I foolishly added up with your older brother, just treat it as if I were re-employed, said Xiao Hongmei. Lu Fei said seriously, sister-in-law, our family will soon be rich. Xiao Hongmei mistakenly thought it was a film reward and said, your money is reserved for going to college. Don't worry about family matters, just focus on filming. In the next 4 days, at home, on the set, 2 points and 1 line. Lu Fei had no newbies and gradually entered a better stage. His acting became more and more skillful, and he got along more and more harmoniously with the crew. Even Teng Danian, who was on the first day of filming, shook off his insights and immediately looked at him with new eyes. Old Teng, let's go. He stood at the fork in the alley and waved. Wait, let's find a stall and continue chatting. I'll treat you. Teng Danian became addicted to chatting, continuing with the screenwriting center system. It's too late, we'll talk about 10 yuan another day. Lu Fei pedaled his bike and headed in the opposite direction to Teng Danian, going his separate ways. The car bell rang all the way, and when he arrived home, a tricycle was parked under the bare jujube tree. Through the window glass, Xiao Hongmei placed various socks on the ground, counting them while sighing. Sister-in-law, how's your business today, isn't it good? Okay, people buy it every day. Originally, Lu Fei had 100% trust in Xiao Hongmei's words, but autumn and winter are the peak seasons for socks, summer is the off-season, and scorching summer. Nowadays, there is no trend for boat socks and transparent socks, and it is popular to wear bare feet and sandals. Can socks sell well? Carrying an uneasy heart, the crew finished work the next day and arrived at the Dashilan night market. There is a saying in old Yanjing that goes, look at things on the overpass, buy things on the big fence. In the 1980s, it was a sea of people, but when Shidon and Wangfujing rose, the big fence declined. Niansheng, Ruifuxiang, buying Zai centennial-old shops can be seen everywhere, but Lu Fei didn't want to linger. He walked from Coal Market Street to Jewelry Market Street, without any trace of mobile street vendors. Upon inquiry, he found out that Defun wanted to improve its business level and only allowed street vendors to be set up on Grain Store Street. Finally, I found Xiao Hongmei in a corner. She set up a small horse stall and stationed herself in the army of stalls. On both sides of the street, there were street stalls, snack stalls, toy stalls, accessory stalls, clothing stalls, and shoe stalls. Although the sparrow was small, it had all 5 organs. Lu Fei glanced at Zhao Guoqiang with sharp eyes, but the stall remained deserted. Oh, Zhao, I've met you again. Brother, it's fate. Zhao Guoqiang was startled and threw a cigarette, which was actually a gift from Lu Fei at the front door. It was a genuine offering of flowers to Buddha. Lu Fei asked in confusion, you didn't go to the overpass. Yanjing's bid for the Olympics requires rectification of the city's appearance. These days, the city's management has been extremely strict, and if found, fines will be imposed. Zhao Guoqiang extended his finger and pointed, look, there are only 4 sock stalls on one street. They all come together, and this business cannot be done. Can this also be internalized? Lu Fei peered through the gap between the people and turned his gaze to Xiao Hongmei. No one was interested in the stall, and his sister-in-law had a tender face and dared not communicate with the guests. She neither shouted nor introduced herself, sitting quietly as if in prison. And Huang Mao, who is opposite her, happens to be a competitor and an expert. The socks on the folding table are of a complete range, arranged in rows, and there is a grid shelf behind it, hanging with nail clippers, bracelets, keychains, and headgear, making it a dazzling sight. Huang Mao shouted loudly, selling socks, pure cotton, anti-odor and sweat absorption, comfortable and not slippery. Don't deceive old people, don't hide young people, rely solely on quality for promotion. Don't worry, my conscience. A rhyme really caught the attention of passers-by. Zhao Guoqiang's eyes were hot, and he cursed and said, oh my mouth is full of rhymes. Why not take the postgraduate entrance examination? Lu Fei shook his head and was worried. Xiao Hongmei was a cute new baby who had not yet left the novice village when he ran into the newcomer assassin Huang Mao. The traffic was so overwhelming that he couldn't even drink soup. You must come up with an idea. What idea is it? From night till morning, Lu Fei was lost in thought, looking at the boxed lunch, bland and putting his chopsticks on the rice. Chopsticks cannot be inserted like this, it's taboo. Gao Yuanyuan sat next to her. What are you thinking, absent-minded? Lu Fei accidentally dropped his chopsticks and squatted down to pick them up. He looked up at her legs, slender and slender. What are you looking at? Gao Yuanyuan shrunk her feet. I'm looking at socks. Lu Fei picked up his chopsticks and curiously said, why do some people still wear socks after wearing sandals? Prevent sweating and slipping, and it's really uncomfortable not to wear it. Gao Yuanyuan pursed her lips, why, is it strange? What do you think of stockings paired with sandals? Not much, what do you want to do? I was thinking, do stockings and sandals look good? Lu Fei lowered his head and various model shows such as e-commerce and advertising flooded his mind. Gao Yuanyuan felt his gaze full of aggression, flowing around her legs and blushing, saying, are you pretty? Lu Fei was lost in thought and blurted out, it looks good. Gao Yuanyuan spat and cursed the hooligan in her heart, running away with her lunchbox in hand. From then on, for almost a week, the two of them never ate together again. The crew members watched and whispered to each other. Is this little couple having a difficult time? Cut, the two of them have only known each other for a few days, not at all. At most, they are roommates, but it's probably true that they're having trouble. They secretly gossiped when suddenly Lu Fei passed by. He immediately stopped speaking and politely said goodbye, looking away at the back of his bike. Why is it so awkward? I heard it's socks. What, kid? Late at night, cicadas chirp endlessly. Sun NM, it's too hot. Pushy, Lu Fei lay on the cool mat, shaking a fan and tossing and turning, unable to sleep. He reached out to touch the jar and saw the bottom of the foam. He got out of bed and poured water. The pitch-black living room was faintly filled with the sound of sobs. As soon as she turned on the light, she saw Xiao Hongmei sitting in a chair, feeling lost and wiping away her tears alone. Lu Fei leaned in and said, what's wrong, sister-in-law? Why are you crying like this? Did someone bully you? No, it's okay, Xiao Hongmei choked up. Afei, go to sleep. Lu Fei glanced at the big bundle at her feet and said weakly, sister-in-law, are the socks not selling well these days? Hiss, socks can't be sold. Xiao Hongmei couldn't bear it anymore and started crying. She only sold 4 pairs of 200 pairs of socks. Lu Fei advised, sister-in-law, don't cry for now. I feel sorry for this money, and even more so for your big brother. Your big brother is away all day, working tirelessly, and I just want to sell some socks to share his burden. I haven't done it yet, wasting the money in vain. Xiao Hongmei cried sadly, tears swirling in her eyes. Lu Fei felt sorry and said, sister-in-law, don't worry, I have some ideas. Afei, what's your idea? Xiao Hongmei choked up. Sister-in-law, first tell me the purchase price of these socks. Lu Fei untied the package and found everything from women's socks to men's socks, nylon, pure cotton, spandex, and more. The cheapest ordinary socks were also the most in quantity, with a total of 100 pairs, costing 8 cents in and 1.2 yuan out. The most expensive one was the luxurious Langsha brand silk socks, which cost 10 yuan per pair. The remaining 90 pairs, consisting of 2 pieces of pure cotton socks, 2.5 pieces of pomegranate cotton socks, and 6 pieces of nylon stockings, make up the majority. With a burst of mental calculation, the total cost was 457.5 yuan, and there was still a backlog of funds of 454.3 yuan for the 196 pairs of goods in front of us. Sister-in-law, tomorrow I'll go with you to sell socks, Lu Fei said with a rolling expression in his eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Crazy Socks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Crazy Socks. At the beginning of the night, the big fence night market was already bustling with people. At the entrance of Qianmen Street, there are 5 cross-street archways with 6 pillars and 5 floors, with a plaque of Xinjiang Bridge set in the middle. The upper plaque is painted with twin dragons playing with pearls. Lu Fei pedaled 3 wheels and took Xiao Hongmei to the old place. Many mobile vendors had already occupied their stalls with large carts and small cars. He chose a place far away from the snack stand, spread foam boards on the ground, covered the ground, and arranged price tags with ease, marking 3 levels: low, middle and high. The left, middle and right were arranged, and men's socks and women's socks were arranged up and down. What we need is a neat and tidy appearance. Xiao Hongmei was extremely surprised, looked carefully, and remembered carefully. Afei, where did you learn these things from? Sister-in-law, I helped my friend take a look at the stall, it was all taught by him. Lu Fei. The street vendor economy has become popular, and internet celebrities are everywhere grabbing traffic to set up stalls and shoot photos on commercial streets and garbage streets. With his and his studio's advice, they will also be able to generate billions of dollars. Brother, it's you again, this time it's. Zhao Guoqiang approached to say hello and found Xiao Hongmei standing next to him. Lu Fei said, I accompany my sister-in-law to sell socks. Oh, she's your sister-in-law. Zhao Guoqiang untied the burlap bag, which was full of electric toys and plush dolls. Lu Fei grabbed a doll and probed, Zhao, where did you wholesale these things from? Where else can it be, Tianyi small commodity market? Zhao Guoqiang's eyes flickered. Lu Fei knew it was a lie, so he couldn't tell the truth. Nowadays, not only mobile phones but also computers are not popular. For example, 20 years later, it is impossible to check prices online before shopping. E-commerce has only just started, without Pink6i, Taobao, or Jingdong. It is still the world of eBay, 8848, and 1688, with undisclosed sources of goods and opaque prices. It is simply the golden age of street vendors and physical stores. What do street vendors rely on to make money, fight for information gaps, and earn price differences? The strongest trump card, besides exclusive low prices, is exclusive channels. There are more than 10 wholesale markets in the entire 49 cities, with Xidan being the most diverse. Clothing has a big red gate, gold goes to Kaibai, pearls go to Hongqiao, cultural and entertainment go to Shili Overpass, stationery goes to Wantong New World, home furnishings go to Tianyu. As for toys, he liked them but didn't demand them forcefully. He wondered, why, Zhao, switched to selling toys. Alas, selling socks alone is not enough to sell that yellow hair. Zhao Guoqiang finally understood. The owners of the night market almost rushed to eat, drink, and go shopping. Even when shopping, they preferred small items such as accessories, toys, and handicrafts. Who would be so idle and buy socks specifically? They were all attracted by other things and bought a few pairs of them casually. Huang Mao took advantage of this opportunity, and as soon as it opened, business immediately came to him. The bracelet is good. Auntie touched the Buddha bead bracelet, took a sniff in front of her nose, and then put it back on the shelf. Her attention shifted to the socks lying horizontally on the wooden board. How much is this pair of cotton socks? 4.5 yuan, this pair is made of high-quality pomegranate cotton, which is better than pure cotton. It is not prone to pilling and will not shrink or deform. Is it selling for 3 yuan and 5 yuan? Oh, don't bother, this is the cost price. You see, pure cotton costs 3 yuan. How about that, 4 yuan? It's only 3.5 yuan. If it's not for sale, I'll go over there. It's only 3.5 yuan over there. Auntie pointed to Zhao Guoqiang. Hiss, Ching Ching, I see you're the first one to open the door, so it's only 3.5 yuan. Huang Mao's face hurt and he gave a thumbs up. You're really good at bargaining. That's right, originally I wanted to cut it down to 3 yuan. Auntie felt like she had found a bargain and paid for the goods. Oh no, don't. Huang Mao and the guests walked away, their mournful faces immediately shining brightly, tears streaming down their faces and earning 1 yuan. 50 cents is the price difference, and 50 cents is the service. Many people bargain, in addition to seeking a cheaper price, but also enjoy the process of bargaining, just to make the old lady bargain comfortably. It must be worth this money. Shaking a steel coin in his hand, he looked proudly at Zhao Guoqiang and Lu Fei over there. Even if we were to engage in a category-armed competition with him, this insight and eloquence would be impossible to learn. In no time, a family of 3 arrived, with a man holding a boy and standing on the side, and a woman selecting both men's and children's socks, constantly asking and bargaining. Moving around, seeing that the second pair of pomegranate cotton socks was about to be sold tonight, suddenly, the old lady from earlier appeared. Refund, I don't want these socks anymore. Oh my, auntie, don't make fun of me. What's wrong? Huang Mao patted her chest to ensure quality, and the size can be changed. I'm going to get a refund. The stall over there is cheaper than yours, 5 yuan for 2 pairs. As soon as Aunt finished speaking, the 3 of them put down their socks and headed straight to Lu Fei's stall. The cooked duck flew away, and Huang Mao was so angry that his eyes widened. He ignored the business and killed the stall. At this moment, Lu Fei's hands turned into trumpet shapes and shouted, "Good news! Good news! The manufacturer's direct selling socks are 1 pair, pure cotton socks, 5 yuan 2 pairs, refined pomegranate cotton socks, 7 yuan 3 pairs, and a special pair of 10 yuan 7 pairs. Don't miss them as you pass by. Welcome everyone to choose." Immediately after, a sign was erected, clearly indicating the price. Huang Mao gritted his teeth, is he definitely here to cause trouble? A glance at the fine pomegranate cotton socks on Lu Fei's stall reveals that they come from the same wholesaler, but even if he is a repeat customer and buys a large quantity, the cost can be spread out at 2.5 yuan. Why do you sell 3 pairs for 7 yuan? Still pure cotton socks cost 5 yuan and 2 pairs. Unless you start buying 100 pairs, the cost is also 2 yuan and 5 yuan. Including shipping and transportation costs, how come we lose money and make a profit? I saw Lu Fei's stall like a pond, with customers flocking in, including a family of 3. The man was hesitating whether it was pure cotton socks or pomegranate cotton socks, while the woman leaned over to the stall and stared at the high-end stockings and tube socks on the right. The man was aroused and afraid that women would spend money recklessly. Lan Wan, what kind of stockings should I wear in the big summer? Lu Fei retorted, hey, why can't you wear stockings in summer? The sun is so intense during the day, and bare legs are easily sunburned by ultraviolet rays. Wearing stockings can help prevent sun damage. That's it. Hu Lanwan was slightly moved and picked a pair. How much does this cost? 19. This is from Langsha, a domestic brand. Lu Fei took out the sample and pulled hard at both ends, full of elasticity. Hu Lanwan reached out and touched it, swaying unsteadily. The only downside of expensive things is that they are expensive. Wearing stockings in summer not only provides sun protection, but also doesn't rub your feet when paired with high heels, better showcasing your leg shape. Lu Fei pursued his victory and vividly talked about fashion, using various keywords such as slightly overweight, high-end, and feminine in e-commerce. You're not very old, you know a lot. Sister, I don't understand. It's written in fashion magazines like this, but how can I understand these things? Fashion magazines also say that fashion taste is not equal to the price of clothes, it is a perfect balance of personal experience. Judging a woman's not knowing how to wear and knowing how to wear can be easily seen from her stockings. With Lu Fei's words, Hu Lanwan became even more moved. She grabbed tightly and said, 17. If it's okay, I'll take it. Huang Mao was so angry that his lungs were exploding. He watched as Lu Fei gritted his teeth and reluctantly agreed, his acting skills surpassing those of Blue. Damn it, this young man's heart was even darker than his own. I only sell 15, and I can still get 1 yuan. He comforted him sourly in his heart, but it was just good luck and it was impossible for such a business to happen again and again. Returning to his empty stall, it was cold and deserted, and business was completely impossible to do. The passenger flow was completely driven away by Lu Fei's low-price promotion, and pedestrians almost gathered in one place. More and more people gather, and there are the most cheap-looking aunties. They are already crowded with people, one person, a dozen people, dozens of people, and the transaction volume has increased sharply. Zhao Guoqiang couldn't bear to watch it. Although he benefited from Lu Fei's neighboring stall and the huge customer flow helped him make several orders, he still advised Xiao Hongmei with kind words. Big girl, you can't let him act recklessly. How could he sell socks like this? You must pay to death. As soon as these words were spoken, customers who were close could hear them clearly and immediately stimulate their desire to shop. If there were any advantages, they would not take advantage of the bastard, and it was best to compensate the boss to death. I spent 5 yuan. Give me 3 pairs of pomegranate cotton socks, give me 3 yuan. Don't crowd, come one by one, come one by one. Xiao Hongmei took the money in one hand and changed it in the other, busy and unable to think. 8 out of 10, the business cannot continue and there will be a big loss sale. Huang Mao was so idle that he knocked on melon seeds and looked at Lu Fei's crowded stall, envious, jealous, and resentful. The whole street, even the snack stall, was not as popular as him. The night was getting darker, and the stall was empty. Sister-in-law, we're out of stock. Let's close the stall. Lu Fei let out a breath and quickly tidied up. Ah, so many socks are gone. Xiao Hongmei was surprised and her heart was filled with mixed feelings. She sighed and said, long pain is better than short pain. It's better to sell it all, just take it as a loss and learn a lesson. She is in a low mood and has no intention of counting money. Huang Mao spat out a mouthful of melon seed skin, and the yin-yang monster said, hey, buddy, are you still going to set up a stall tomorrow? Come, of course I will. Lu Fei raised his mouth and pedaled his tricycle, whistling as he left. Cheng, I'll be waiting for you tomorrow. Huang Mao watched their backs gradually recede and spat a mouthful of phlegm. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. E.Commerce Thinking, Dimension Reduction Strike. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 E.Commerce Thinking, Dimension Reduction Strike. Returning to the courtyard with a starry and moonlit appearance, I stumbled upon Chin Hailu washing clothes on a washboard. Did your uncle and sister-in-law sell socks? She looked at the carriage of the tricycle, the bundle crumpled into a piece of cloth, and exclaimed in surprise, a few days ago, I still packed big bags like that. Are they all sold out today? Xiao Hongmei nodded and forced a smile when asked about her turnover. Count the money. Just count and you'll know. Lu Fei raised his lips and eagerly entered the room, opened the tin box and poured the money onto the spread-out newspaper. 1 cent, 1 yuan, 5 jiao, 10 yuan, 5 yuan. A pile of steel coins and bills was magnificent, and there was even a green 2 yuan bill. At first glance at the year, it looks like the 4th edition from 1990, even if it's expensive, it's only 20.30 yuan. The appearance of this picture is average, with wrinkles and cracks. It's folded in half and costs around 10 yuan. Anyway, no matter how small the mosquito legs are, they are still flesh. He restrained his smile, grabbed the banknotes one by one in his hand, and stacked the steel coins in a pile, carefully counting them. Xiao Hongmei lacked interest and held the remaining 2 pairs of Langsha stockings, sighing softly. Chin Hailu looked left and right. The man smiled and the woman was worried, while the uncle and sister-in-law were crying. The 2 completely different expressions confused her. How much? How much? Asked. 569.5 yuan. Lu Fei chuckled, including the 4 pairs my sister-in-law sold before, the total is 574.3 yuan. Xiao Hongmei suddenly looked up and said, What? Chin Hailu exclaimed in surprise, You sold over 500 yuan in one night. How did you sell it? How much did you earn? Xiao Hongmei opened her mouth and couldn't speak. She quickly got started and finished counting for the first time. Her pupils trembled, her fingers dripped with saliva, and she counted twice more. Her brain crashed, and she looked bewildered, directly suspecting life. Xiao Jie, come on, how much did you really earn? Chin Hailu asked. 1,116 yuan, 8 yuan. Xiao Hongmei stared at Lu Fei, how could it be like this, Afei? How could it be like this? Lu Fei explained without reservation that he couldn't accompany his sister-in-law to set up a stall every day. In fact, to put it bluntly, it was just an old trick of e-commerce to attract traffic and momentum. Low-end goods attract traffic, high-end goods earn price differences, attract new customers, convert, retain, all in one go. Even if low-end products lose money, relying solely on huge sales volume can push the store to the recommended positions of Taobao, Pinxixi, and Jingdong. Not to mention, a large number of users are too lazy to browse the page and choose stores based on sales volume in descending order. It's equivalent to spending money on promotion, saving advertising fees, and attracting customers to consume their own high-end products. Although buyers may make a small profit, sellers will never lose, or even make a profit. Online is a basic operation, but the situation is still different when it comes to offline entities. For example, at a yellow-haired stall, regular socks cost only 1 yuan. If you consider a regular sock worth 80 cents as a drainage item and price it at 1 yuan, the discount is not painful and the effect is not very good. Therefore, for drainage items, you must choose pure cotton socks or pomegranate cotton socks from the selected range. 10 yuan for 7 pairs, 2 pairs of pure cotton socks, 5 pairs of ordinary socks. Bundled consumption not only earns customer traffic but also drives sales. Other sock stalls sell a few pairs or even a dozen pairs of regular socks per day, which is the highest. They sell 100 pairs at a low profit but high sales rate, with a profit of 20 cents. For 100 pairs, they sell for 20 yuan, which is all considered as subsidies and mid-range socks with reduced prices. The real profit comes from socks priced at 6 or 10 yuan. Relying on the popularity gained through promotions, the reputation of cheap, hot, and manufacturer direct sales of high quality has greatly benefited the sales of high-end socks. 196 pairs of socks, over 100 buyers. Although in this era, customers who can afford mid-range socks may not necessarily have a demand for high-end socks, as long as a very small number of them are converted to high-end, it is enough. A pair of stockings costs 6 yuan in and 9 yuan out, with a profit of 50%, while Longsha's is 80%. Sister-in-law, I call it mid-range small profit, low-end profit volume, high-end profit price. Can you still sell socks like this? Xiao Hongmei was enlightened. One night is over 100, and 1 month is 3,000. Oh my God, I earn 3 months' salary. Qin Hailu couldn't help but feel tempted. Xiao Jie, why don't I go with you to sell socks when I have time one night? Okay, I'll get another 200 pairs tomorrow. Xiao Hongmei suddenly regained her confidence. Sister-in-law, if you want to enter, you can get 300 pairs. Lu Fei pondered that other vendors could not see their way in a short period of time, so he took advantage of the market saturation and vigorously cleaned it up. So the purchase ratio of high, medium, and low-end socks was given, without focusing on the entire category. Stalls cannot be comprehensive, occupying space and making customers picky. In fact, most people have difficulty choosing, especially in physical stores. Afei, where did you learn all this from? Xiao Hongmei exclaimed in surprise. Hehe, sister-in-law, I was also thinking blindly. Without saying a word, Lu Fei opened a box of Longsha's packaging. Xiao Hongmei immediately said anxiously, Afei, why did you dismantle it? It would be great if you could keep it for tomorrow and sell it together. Sister-in-law, please try it on. I'm wearing it. How could I wear such expensive socks? Sister-in-law, I want you to wear it tomorrow and go to the stand tomorrow to show our stockings to female customers. Lu Fei handed it over and said, high-end women's socks. It's better to see than to see. Why do clothing stores put model dummies? Isn't that just a display? Xiao Hongmei waved her hand, not confident, I can't do it. I'm so old and can't dress up. If I wear silk stockings, they won't sell. How could it be, sister-in-law? You're only 30, a woman is 30, a flower. Lu Fei patted his chest, don't worry, I'm here. Who am I? Third-level photographers handle countless e-commerce seller shows and advertising model shows. I'm really not suitable to wear stockings, they don't match my clothes. Xiao Hongmei twisted her hands, but Lu Fei knew that her sister-in-law's wardrobe was almost in the style of workers from the 1980s, with black, gray, and blue work clothes, and only a few dresses. The latest one she bought was still 3 years ago. He tore off the packaging on purpose, making it impossible for Xiao Hongmei to refuse. He climbed up the pole and said, then buy new clothes, Sister Hailu. Can you lend my sister-in-law outfit and see which one suits you? No problem. Qin Hailu saw through the name, Sister Xiao, let's go to the room. Xiao Hongmei's wrist was caught and she was startled. No, I can't. Lu Fei has long thought of a good reason. Xiaoji uses business and money to make money. Who is the best person to earn money, woman? Behind a dear cloud lies a woman who sweeps away billions of goods. What do women pursue? Fashionable. How can a female boss sell high-end products if she doesn't wear fashionable clothes? Under such circumstances, Xiao Hongmei followed Qin Hailu to try on clothes, coming and going in and out of the room, and repeatedly appeared in front of Lu Fei. Afei, where did you learn how to dress? You're even better than us girls. Qin Hailu exclaimed, silk stockings can still be paired with sandals like this. Oh my, I'll also wear them for you. Silk stockings paired with sandals. When the family of 3 returned home, Hu Lanjuan's sister heard her sister's strange outfit and kept burning with fire, saying, Hu Lanjuan, you don't mind being tacky either. Hu Lanjuan grabbed her sister's ear and said, how can you talk, Hu Lanxin? No big or small, can you hear me when I call you? Hu Lanxin immediately softened and said, oh, sister, sister, you've been deceived. No, right. Hu Lanjuan couldn't help but waver. The boss said he read it from a fashion magazine, sun protection, shaping, and peeling. I think it makes sense. Cut, that's not a big deal. He sells socks. If he doesn't say that, how could he deceive you into buying socks? Hu Lanxin nibbled on the apple. The man boldly scolded, yes, I just bought socks for 5 yuan, you bought one. Who can I show you when I buy it back? It's not you yet. Hu Lanjuan gave a look and immediately extinguished his anger. Hu Lanxin said, sister, have you taken it apart? If you haven't taken it apart, please return it as soon as possible. In the summer, you wear stockings and sandals. It's not tacky. But if he doesn't let me quit, what should I do? Hu Lanjuan hesitated. He dares. Sister, I'll accompany you tomorrow. Where is his stall? Hu Lanxin said with her hands on her hips. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. The World of Injured Sock Stalls completed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. The World of Injured Sock Stalls completed. The aesthetic of the millennium, for words, cannot bear to look directly at. At first, imitating the Hong Kong and Taiwan styles of Japan and South Korea became popular, and then copying the Korean wave from Europe and America became popular. The neon visual system was eye-catching, killing matte, non-mainstream, and burying love for families. A hodgepodge of various fashion elements is simply a disaster, especially for those born in the 1980s and 1990s. Opening old photos is full of dark history and indescribable shame, to the point where they can carve out a 3-bedroom living room. Until 10 years later, rectifying chaos and 100 flowers bloomed. The fast fashion outfit designed by Lu Fei for Xiao Hongmei is now going crazy, completely reducing its dimensionality. Silk stockings and sandals, complemented by a lace top and a half-black skirt, exude an understated and elegant urban beauty vibe. As soon as Xiao Hongmei appeared in the night market, it was a beautiful scenery. Huang Mao's eyes enlarged, and the melon seeds hung in his mouth, but he didn't bite them for a long time. Other vendors, including Zhao Guoqiang, had straight eyes and their mouths seemed to be chattering. Low-level perverts look at their face, intermediate perverts look at their figure, advanced perverts look at their thighs, top-level perverts have a foot fetish, and no pervert can refuse stockings. The quality of these stockings is really good. It's quite good, so good that I want to buy a pair for my wife as well. Her dress is also very nice. It's just a bit too long. Yeah, it's better to make it shorter. It's cooler now. It's so hot. Hey, are you hot? It's hot, haven't you seen me sweating all over? Just a few minutes after setting up the stall, I was immediately surrounded by more and more people, and suddenly became the busiest stall. Sister, is this the right stall? Hu Lanxin pointed her fingers and plunged into the crowd, squeezing to the front. Boss, step back. Slow down, slow down. Hu Lanjuan quickly stopped, but suddenly Xiao Hongmei's outfit flashed in front of her, and her eyes were instantly drawn in. Sister, what's wrong? Hu Lanxin looked straight at her, unable to move her eyes. It doesn't seem as tacky as you said. Hu Lanjuan looked up and down, and Xiao Hongmei's figure made the stockings appear hazy, yet still charming and sexy. It was a man who wanted to have it, and a woman who wanted to have it. Although Hu Lanxin was tempted, she said stubbornly, Sister, stockings with sandals don't have this fashion. Fashion has no standards, beauty should have various forms and appearances. Xiao Hongmei immediately refuted, following the language of Lu Fei's teachings, Zhang Ko Lai, both were at the level of Xia Hongshu's popular 100000 plus reading soft articles. The most dazzling fashion style came from the front, including two sisters, and the ladies and sisters around the stall, who were not clear about the southeast, northwest and northwest. Suddenly, a new trend in stockings appeared to be spreading from person to person. With both feet on the ground and the virus spreading, there was only one thought in my mind. Sandals paired with stockings, put on beautifully. With Xiao Hongmei, the fashion guru, personally bringing the goods, Hu Lanwan dispelled the idea of returning them, as if the brainwashing sound of buy it, echoed in her ears. At this moment, Hu Lanxin's clear voice rang out, "Boss, give me the pair of meat stockings you just mentioned." Okay, another summer without socks, betraying the revolution. Boss, please tell me more about what kind of meat stockings can be paired with. It looks really good as you said. I'll call my best friend and roommates over another day. She not only rebelled, but also persuaded surrender. Lying trough. Huang Mao looks sour, and I envy him so much that he cracks open. Another pair day after day. High-end stockings are becoming increasingly popular, and mid to low-end products are also sustainable and popular. As soon as the stall is set up, it is immediately crowded with people. Some attend the Little Sunflower fashion classroom to learn from the experience, some simply seek cheap prices, and some are still trying to catch a glimpse of beauty. With the fame of sock shisha rising, the foot traffic on the entire street skyrocketed. Snack stalls, jewelry stalls, and others followed suit to drink soup and eat meat. The female stall owner, for the sake of traffic, could only turn a blind eye to her own family's whims. The only one injured is the sock stand. Business is not just worse than before, it's like feng shui takes turns. Xiao Hongmei was so miserable when she first arrived, but now they are so miserable that no one cares. I can't live anymore. Huang Mao envies, and hates to wear stockings on his feet, cover his head with stockings, transform into a gangster and a big lady in women's clothing, and sell them along the street. My heart is dripping with blood. Fortunately, he sells groceries and there are various small items on the shelves, otherwise he would have been squeezed to death. Damn it, why haven't we all paid for it yet? But when he calmed down and touched his chin, there was no foolish hat doing business like this. There must be a gateway inside. Zhao Guoqiang also thought of this layer, but couldn't figure it out. He watched helplessly as the next door's big sales went on, with a flowing stream. Afei, your brother is back today. Let's go home early. After training, Xiao Hongmei gradually opened up in front of others, dared to speak and act, and had already taken on a dominant position. Okay, sister.in. Law, are we closing the stall now? Lu Fei has been accompanying him tirelessly these days, not only as a thug, but also as a flower protector. The streets are not peaceful these days. Although he launched a heavy attack in 1996, there were also local ruffians and thieves running around. Harvest, Xiao Hongmei said. Returning home, the lights were dark and dim. Lu Yun leaned wearily in his chair and woke up leisurely when he heard the movement of the wheels. In my eyes, a completely new wife, her head suddenly buzzing and confused. After being away from home for more than 10 days, how could the changes be so significant? Brother, I bought sweet potatoes, skewers, and some wine specifically for you. Lu Fei put the things on the table. You talk to sister.in.law, I'm going to take a shower. It's hot on this day. Lu Yun's face was full of confusion, and Xiao Hongmei explained everything that had happened these days in detail, and then revealed tonight's results. Out of 300 pairs of socks, there are only 21 pairs left, with a cost of 650 yuan and a remarkable revenue of 896.5 yuan, resulting in a net profit of 236.5 yuan. Are these all the ideas of the second son? Lu Yun was taken aback. Xiao Hongmei praised, not really. I just said Afei is very smart, but he didn't put it on the right track. At this moment, the sound of rushing water came from outside the house, and Lu Fei shouted, "Sister-in-law, I'll set up a stall alone tomorrow. Big brother will come back, and you can spend more time with him." Filming during the day and setting up stalls at night, leaving ample private space for the couple. Before leaving, seeing Lu Yun supporting his waist and his light footsteps, Lu Fei joked, "Brother, do you want to come back and bring you a big waist? Get out of here, there's no straight line." Lu Yun picked up a broom and pretended to fight. "Hee, then I'll go." Lu Fei spread his legs and ran away without a trace. He pedaled 3 wheels and hummed, "Jingo biao, jingo biao, jingo oh, my goodness." Along the way, pedestrians occasionally saw several women in pairs of stockings and sandals, looking back 100%. They were stunning, curious, puzzled, and mocked. Gao Yuanyuan stood at the 5 Archways Memorial Archway in Tianmen Street and blinked. "Is there any silk stockings with sandals?" Looking down at his long legs and bare feet, he inexplicably thought of Lu Fei. Suddenly, he was lightly patted on the back. "Yuanyuan." Hu Lanxin's face was filled with a smile, her floral skirt fluttered in the wind, and her short white stockings paired with sandals exuded a strong sense of girlishness. "Why are you wearing it like this?" Gao Yuanyuan was surprised. "This is fashion, do you understand fashion?" Hu Lanxin pulled her best friend to go shopping. "If I want to buy stockings, why do I come all the way here? There are plenty of markets in Fengtai, but I won't go." "Hee, you don't understand. You're not buying socks, it's fashion. How to dress and improve clothing quality, no one knows fashion better than Mr. Xiao. Is it really fake?" Gao Yuanyuan, half believing and half doubting, followed Hu Lanxin to the intersection, but unexpectedly, it was Lu Fei who set up the stall. How could it be him? My heart pounded. No wonder when the crew finished work, Lu Fei always finished work on time and disappeared without a trace. Also, the offense that day turned out to be all for selling socks. "Lanxin, didn't you say that the vendor is a woman? Why is he a man again?" "Oh, that woman is his sister. Law, Hu Lanxin said disappointedly. "She didn't come, so it's boring. Let's go and explore other places." The two of them ate, drank, and had fun, but Gao Yuanyuan was absent-minded. After a while, she wandered around and returned to the grain shop street. Looking at Lu Fei's hard work, she felt guilty and conflicted, afraid to show her face, afraid of hurting his self-esteem, so she asked her best friend to come forward. "You're picking socks, how could you not go?" Hu Lanxin frowned. Gao Yuanyuan coquettishly said, "Lanxin, can you help me choose a pair? I don't understand fashion like you do." Hu Lanxin squinted her eyes and sniffed something was wrong, but couldn't explain why. "No, I can accompany you, but you must go," he said, wrapping his hands around his best friend's arm and forcefully pulling him in front of Lu Fei. Gao Yuanyuan was so scared that she shook her head repeatedly and could only reveal the truth. "He was the male lead in my play," she said. "Oh, he's your boyfriend," Hu Lanxin joked. "In the movie." "In the movie." Gao Yuanyuan waved her hand to clarify. "Hee, it's urgent, it's urgent." Hu Lanxin's eyes rolled around and a ghostly smile appeared. "Okay, wait. Sign the contract, the next step is to compete for recommended slots. It's time to retrace the path of journey to the West, without further ado, seeking recommendations, investments, and collections. Now we have to follow up on the theory and hope that everyone doesn't leave it hanging for too long, occasionally flipping through it. OTZ, thank you so much." End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Miss Gao and Zhu Bajie. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Miss Gao and Zhu Bajie. In the midsummer of August, half of the filming progress was completed. In the back sea of Shikahai Park, lotus flowers grow on the water surface, squeezed and squeezed. Lotus leaves come in different colors, emerald green, dark green, smooth and shiny. Lu Fei stood by the embankment, facing the test that actors must pass. Intimate scenes. First love is so damn sweet, how could it be without a kiss? Really dear? Of course. Wang Xiaoshui refused to take a seat and wanted a truthful answer. Look at them each being more and more reserved, standing far away from each other, like a couple who are starting to have a difficult relationship. You all get closer to me, talking nonsense. Gao Yuanyuan obediently followed suit, but always lowered her head and remained silent. Lu Fei fell down and got used to it. He had more kissing scenes for actors than he had experienced before. After all, in later film and television dramas, without love, there would be no drama, and without kissing, there would be no drama. Whether it's ancient clothes, cities, or even workplace dramas, or architects, lawyers, doctors, or real estate agents, even soldiers don't talk about love. I Love You Fried Dough Twists criticizes love. No professional knowledge at all, industrial saccharine is scattered everywhere, making it impossible for directors and actors to film romantic scenes. But when I first appeared on camera myself, I felt strange. Where are you kissing? Gao Yuanyuan looked up curiously and saw Wang Xiaoshui pointing to her face, her cheeks slightly red. Why not kiss? The plot. Originally, Xiao Jian was able to further grow, but at this moment, he discovered that Cui Lin had stolen the car. Without hesitation, he decisively left his girlfriend and ran to chase the car thief. Sister Paper, where is a bicycle important? A bicycle can be ridden for a lifetime. Each group is in position, action. In the small forest, birds chirp and cicadas chirp. Gao Yuanyuan is in front, and Lu Fei is at the back. In the quiet atmosphere, the girl was shy and didn't dare to look back at the boy. She raised her chin, closed her eyes, and was like a flower to be picked by the king. Wang Xiaoshui was dissatisfied with his stance and said, Lu Fei, you and Yuanyuan are lovers. Get closer, yes, get closer. After readjustment, it's just a stone's throw away. Lu Fei could clearly smell the scent emanating from Gao Yuanyuan's hair. In front of the camera, he was a shy junior brother, nervous and curious. He reached out to touch her shoulder, withdrew, wanted to touch her face, and then withdrew. A youthful love, with a hint of shyness in the heart. For the first intimate encounter, I was both hesitant and thinking, how could I open my mouth when I really knocked melon seeds in the bathroom? Gao Yuanyuan closed her eyes in darkness and grabbed her skirt with both hands, her heart beating uncontrollably. Why haven't you kissed yet? Kiss quickly. Suddenly, as if electrocuted, there was a surge of electric current in the right hand. Lu Fei didn't say hello and tentatively touched her hand. He didn't dodge and became a little more daring. Then he grabbed her hand, but still didn't resist, and his courage increased by 1,000,000,000 points. Silently, the restless hormones of the young man, under indulgence, were restless. Gao Yuanyuan felt heat coming from her ears, and her face was suddenly pecked. Her eyelashes trembled, and she couldn't help but keep her head away. Lu Fei turned his head and looked up, as if he had suddenly bumped into his bike being stolen. Hey, what's going on? He finished speaking and ran out of the camera. Click. Accompanied by shouts of cessation, Gao Yuanyuan seemed to be born after a disaster, breathing heavily and caressing her face, momentarily lost in thought. Wang Dao, how are you, okay? Lu Fei asked. Wang Xiaoshui's answer was, keep one. This one works, but for the sake of continuous improvement, it is kept as a backup and will be taken again. The location of once again has changed. Before, women left and men right. Now, men left and women right. That is to say, after kissing the left face, kiss the right face. I suspect that you were absolutely intentional, but I have no evidence. Lu Fei awkwardly touched his nose and said, I have no choice, I will try my best and pass it all. Gao Yuanyuan pursed her lips and casually rolled a strand of her hair, saying, it's okay, come on. The intimate scene went extremely smoothly, but got stuck in the subsequent car chase scene. Chui Lin ran, Lu Fei chased, and the two of them ran wildly in the park for a whole morning, but none of them were satisfactory to Wang Xiaoshui. However, it's not entirely due to the poor performance of Lu Fei and his team. Ultimately, it's a problem with photography. The crew is too poor and there are no decent moving slides, so they can only fix the camera on the side position. How can they capture the real sense of motion that Wang Xiaoshui wants? Lu Fei was sweating profusely, running until his throat smoked. However, the production team did not finish work for a long time, and Wang Xiaoshui called him and the photography team together again, repeatedly describing the visual sense he wanted. Don't just add up so blindly, I'm tired. Director Wang, I have an idea. I watched a movie called Chongqing Forest before, and the shots in it were so stunning that I thought it would be cool to use it, said Lu Fei, a third-level photographer who couldn't bear it anymore. Wang Xiaoshui's eyes lit up and he said, "Are you talking about handheld photography?" Teng Danian blinked his eyes and once again refreshed his understanding of Lu Fei. It seemed like he couldn't see through to the end. He not only intervened in performances and scripts, but also in photography. You are such a master key, you can insert it anywhere. Unfortunately, his advice is quite professional. Wang Xiaoshui discussed with the photography team and followed Lu Fei's method to direct the on-site shooting. As expected, the effect was outstanding. The shaking of the camera causes the scene to be bumpy, with a tight chase, intense rhythm, and full impact, bursting out. It was this grandson's desire for dynamism. After 2 passes, he finally finished work and started eating at 1 p.m. The sun is scorching and hot, and the weather is unbearable. Lu Fei took off his coat, soaked his white shirt with sweat, and resisted the urge not to go shirtless in public. Sweat flowed down his cheeks and down his chin, dropping drop by drop. "Nah, wipe it." Gao Yuanyuan handed over a wet handkerchief. "Did you talk to me again?" Lu Fei's unexpected return was not polite, and he painfully wiped his face. She sat on the bench and pointed to the cheek being kissed, saying, "You had many romantic relationships in high school and kissed many girls, haven't you?" "This is my first time kissing a girl." With a sincere expression on his face, Lu Fei secretly added an advance in his heart. "Since his rebirth." "Really? I don't believe it. You were so skilled just now. I haven't eaten pork before, and I haven't seen pigs running." "What do you mean, I'm a pig?" Gao Yuanyuan feigned anger. "I didn't say that." Lu Fei rolled his eyes and gestured with a handkerchief. "Let me do a magic trick to make you forget that you're a pig." "I wasn't originally." Look, the magic is working." You. Under embarrassment and anger, Gao Yuanyuan tugged hard at Lu Fei's clothes and put on a set of village women's 8 fists, both fists and palms. She muttered in unison. "You are the pig, you are the pig." After a while, the two of them seemed to be on the sidelines, fighting and frolicking. It was difficult not to attract the attention of the crew, as they looked at each other with a pair of eyes. It's only been a few days since we last had a Cold War, and we're all entangled together again. Teng Danian couldn't afford to eat, and there were no more delicious melons in the food. The more I look at them, the more I feel like they have some tricks, like a pair of enemies. If we can make a marriage together, it would be a beautiful thing. Wang Xiaoshui's gaze was playful as he looked at Lu Fei and Gao Yuanyuan, both of whom were engaged in a playful chase in reality, full of vitality. "Don't run." She raised her little pink fist. "Hey, don't make a fuss," Lu Fei apologized with a serious tone, "I was wrong. My zodiac year is the year of the pig, 1983, and I'm not good enough to be a pig." You're Zhu Bajie." When the two were arguing, Chui Lin from OT outside the venue coldly said, "It seems that Zhu Bajie is marrying Miss Gao." Teng Danian snorted and immediately burst out laughing uncontrollably. yes, Miss Zhu Beiji Gong Gao. In an instant, there was a burst of laughter, and the small forest was filled with joyful air. Ha! Gao Yuanyuan was taken aback and suddenly noticed that the entire production team was eating melons. Her face turned red in an instant to the point of her ears, and she ran away in shame. Lu Fei had thick skin and was not afraid of social death. He countered Cui Lin and said, "Ahem, that's Gao Zuelan. Continue to seek investment, collection, and recommendation. OTZ." End of this chapter.